Dryerbuzz.com and follow at Dryerbuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.
Are we ever ready? No. And that's okay. Sometimes you just have to go ahead and push that button. And then one of the reasons I gave you the sounder right there, because I wasn't ready. And I'm like, okay, take another breath. There's nothing wrong with taking another breath. Because listen, the challenges of the day can be overwhelming. They can be ever all assuming. Listen, first of all, I assumed this thing was working. I did. I assumed it was working. I assumed I was prepared. But you know what? I wish I could say I knew. No, because there are going to be days that we don't know. I don't know. And there were a couple of things I needed to do before I open my mouth, before I say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever your time zone, wherever you are. If you're seeing this on my timeline, your timeline, a friend's timeline, thank everybody for the like, share, and follow, and all that stuff that we do in social media. But right now, let's just figure out, y'all. Let's figure out together how to get out of bed. I'm Yolanda Lattimore at Dryerbuzz. As most of you have known me for the past 17 years, when I decided then and then only, I'm going to live in public. I'm going to be truthful, transparent, and totally honest with myself and with others. And I'm going to do it publicly, meaning I'm going to do it on social media. I'm going to do it on all these different platforms as they come and they go. I'm going to have something out there. And so now in the journey, I've been on a journey for a while. I decided to clue you guys in and let y'all come with, or to come with y'all, because it seems like we all going through something. But I don't know how long that we have been doing the how to get out of bed. I don't know when we put a name on it. We've been doing it. But then, you know me, I'm like, wait, I need to brand it. I need to put a name on it. I need to put a face on it. I need it to be familiar. I need an understanding of it. I need some accountability on it. All of those things. And I didn't have to write any of that down because we've already discussed that ad nauseum. And we'll circle back around. But today, grab your journal if you subscribe to just a blank page, where each day for you is a blank page and you write your story. You write your story. Or if you subscribe to a calendar, grab your calendar, because I know what for some people today is, for me, when I'm live recording this, it's a Sunday morning. The house is quiet. I think I was one of the first to start stirring around. Then, little by little, the house is coming awake. And I said, I literally have been sitting here like trying to wait until the 8 o'clock hour to go. But I kind of got stirring, you go to bed on time, you get stirring a little bit early. So what I'm going to do is just check, because we decided to put this a couple of places again, going back and forth. We got one primary platform, but we do try to put it in a couple of other platforms just as an alternative, because sometimes they don't work. They're not beholden to us. We don't own them. We can't even pay many of them to give us professional services. So we have to just kind of go with the flow. So in going with the flow, let me just check and make sure that we did land where we at least intended to land. One, I do have yes, we're there. Okay, so let me do a couple things over here, since it looks like it did work. So let me do that. I'm going to go ahead and put this on this page. Let's do that. Let's set it up over there. We'll do a little bit of watch party over there. And then I'm going to come back over here to you guys. Let me turn that down. I love the little echo there, because that lets me know, hey, I must have been doing something. And then we're going to go and grab this journal, y'all, and figure out what we're going to talk about today. So I hope everybody's having a great day. If you're catching this on a podcast, listen, try and catch it live. I do record them live each morning, or as I start my day. I try to let it be my first thoughts of the morning. I try not to turn on the television. Unfortunately, I had to go down my timeline a little bit because I got a couple of other deadlines going on as well. One eye open, frog in my throat. But talking is what I do on the podcast. If you ever see me around out in public, I usually don't have a lot to say. I'm still myself, and I still go into that zone and that mood. But most of the time, this is what I really want to talk about. Just quiet, not even like we've done one of these where we talked about listen, but sometimes quiet. I'm gonna write that down. And you know what I love? I'm one of those people. I write heavy-handed. So as I look at this blank page, I can see I can turn a couple of pages to a couple of blank pages and see the indentation of past writings. So I'm so inspired that one, I am keeping this journal, and that there are so many pages that we've already gone through. If I really wanted to count the podcast, I can go back through these pages. But I love that I wrote this on a blank page, but I can see the indentation, because to me, I always, and this is a part of who I am, I always look for signs that I'm not necessarily busy, but then I'm doing stuff. Because when you stop seeing those signs, you stop seeing that you've stopped moving, you stop doing stuff, you pretty much have stopped living, right? Right. But I want to talk about getting quiet. Like one of the things I had to do, not wanting to go live before the 8 o'clock hour, I just kind of had to sit here quietly. And like me, if you are a parent and you have had come through times when early morning the house was loud, or waiting for that evening moment when everything goes quiet. Quiet is such a blessing, y'all. It's a blessing. I'm gonna say the fact that you are. Let me tell you, and I think, and then I speak, and then I stop, and I think. That's how I go. You try to figure out my cadence. It's for people who listen to podcasts. If you try to figure out my cadence, I speak fast. I'm the podcast. You'll probably slow down as opposed to speed up. But when I think about blessings, and I think about quiet, and I think about just, again, at the end of all this, we think about opportunity, but it's such a blessing to be able to find a quiet moment, to be able to shut it out. But when you think about, you want to shut out everything, what are you shutting out? There are times when, like, say you're out riding. I always, that car that's got the real loud music, that car, I'm like, I came to this conclusion that people who need loud, they're trying to drown something out. There have been times when I will go to turn something on, or this, that, and that, because it's too quiet. But I realize, wait a minute, I'm going too far into my thoughts, right? Oh, it's too quiet. My cousin said to me a while back, I was talking about sleeping and dreaming and all this kind of stuff. And she said, do you turn your television off? She says, it bothers her when she has, I guess, go through her house and turn things off or whatever. She just said she noticed that people who, the same conclusion I came about people with the loud music, like, what are they trying to drown out? She asked me, she posed a question to me. She said, well, what are you trying to drown out? Trying to sleep with the TV on, or always keeping the TV on. And there were times I would never turn it off, right? Even though I never really watched it, just having that, what they call white noise, or that sound in the background. What did you need it for? Oftentimes we need it because we don't want to go into our thoughts. Oftentimes we need it because we don't want the quiet, But it's so funny because even in our quiet, like the electricity, I remember they sent a notice saying that they had to dig a hole or work on something. And there were times, even like the pressure, like right now, even though the water's not on, there's a pressure that's built up so that when you turn your water on, it instantly comes out. Because back in the day, you used to turn the water on and have to wait for the water to come. I remember hearing the air and the water come through the pipes. I talked about that. I was telling my kids that we were at the park one day and saw one of the old school fountains. Remember yesterday we talked about the old school and the new school. And I said, man, it triggered something. It triggered a memory in my childhood. I said, because, back in the day we used to drink from those fountains and water hoses and all of that. And so I live in a town now. In fact, I lived, one of the landmarks to my house was turned at the water tower, right? And so I've always been fascinated with water towers, and because you go places, they have them where they are unique to areas, and I decided one day to just kind of look up, like, what is that for? What is a water tower for? Well, in certain areas, depending on the structure of the plumbing, the water tower helps take some of the pressure off when you're not using your water. Like, say when you travel and you come home, you turn the water on and it kind of bursts through, well, one of the things what the water tower does is the water goes up into the water towers, because in order to maintain a level of pressure, if they didn't have some kind of way to relieve the pressure when the demand was high or low, or when the demand was low and the water was building up, it was goes up into the water tower. Or when the demand, so that to maintain the demand, the reservoir, the water tower is seen as the reservoir, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to find out because that was so fascinating to me. So when you turn the water, but I said I'm rambling, but to say that to say what's in, I guess let's write that down. Reservoir. That came through. I'm gonna write that down. Reservoir. In the quiet. I noticed the electricity, like the fridge is loud, the television, all this stuff. They're so loud. Let me write down loud. There's so many loud things around us. So many loud things around us. And yeah, it looks like Periscope is not cooperating today. So we do have your alternative platforms going on. And I don't know if it's my device. It might just be this device, but it looks like it's trying. So we'll be copacetic. So blessings, reservoir, loud. There's so many things that are loud around us, especially opinions. Too often times we are opinions. Let me write that down. Too often times I notice people will seek an opinion not because they want to be encouraged, but they want to be denied. I'm like, well, why did you ask them? Because you knew what they were going to say. You knew they weren't going to be able to grasp it. You knew they don't have the mindset or the concept. Did you go there? Comfort zone. Let's go back to that again. We did a podcast too on comfort zones. So you'll be able to go and look at that. We were talking about, what is it about your comfort zone, especially when it comes to how to get out of bed, resorting to our bed. One of the things we talked about the other day, or I think a couple days ago, if I was to turn back a couple of pages, we talked about why the bed is such a comfort zone, because you know what? That's the one place where you're not letting a whole lot of stuff reach you there, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't go there. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. Otherwise, that wouldn't be your place that's difficult for you to leave and go out and face the world. So we're talking about quiet. Is that part of our comfort zone? A lot of times, quiet is not the comfort zone. Being alone, solo, being alone, but write that down, being alone. A lot of people can't be alone. They always got to find somebody to be, even if they don't enjoy that person's company, even if at the end of that day, because it's all about, we try to start our day out to the point where we don't have to say at the end of the day. Even at the end of that day, they know they didn't enjoy themselves. They're mad because they took that person along with them, because they couldn't go solo. But a lot of times, guess what? I find, and I go a lot of places by myself. But when I get there, I'm not by myself. There's others around. There's so many people out there, and if you're not introvert, or if you don't have a problem meeting people, or just listen, enjoy yourself. They're enjoying themselves. You're doing it together. Understanding what togetherness is. But being alone, there are people who can't be alone. And I'm looking back at these and I'm noticing that the first word I wrote was blessing. The very first word. Because quiet to me is a blessing. Being able, not having to escape thoughts, not having to escape. Let me write that down. Not having to escape, because escaping is so much a part of what we're doing and where we're going. Everybody talks, well, even in social media, when the reports come out each period about what people are doing on social media, is so much about escape. When I talk about social media, I mean all kind of media is about escape. Very few people use it to ascertain a greater wealth or knowledge or understanding. It's all about escape, because we all have those things. You want to escape work, you want to escape responsibilities, you want to escape something that you're accountable for, you want to escape. But when you think about it, and even when you're on social media, I know for me, even though I sit all day and my work revolves around social media, so I'm on it all day, every day. My screen time reminder comes up and I'm like, golly, really? Did I ever put that device, a device down? Even if I would put my phone down, I can look to my left, to my right. It's all around me. It's just going on all the time. And for me, even though I'm quiet, it's still a very loud environment. My mind is going 24/7. I got to think about things that I need to post. I've got clients, I have to tell them, hey, listen, here's a trend. Go post exactly this. Post that. Do this. It's always, even though there's no decibels to it, I still live in a very loud environment. It's very loud. Like even right now, I don't know how I do it. I'm watching two devices right now, right? I'm watching the one that I'm recording on, and I'm watching the one that I'm broadcasting on, and I'm looking at this. It's like I live in a very loud environment, so I can come on and have a discussion about quiet. Sitting here staring out the window, like I have to be able to see outside because I love the awakening of a morning. I love all the things that are outside working in unison and in concert with the universe. The sun at certain peaks, what happens, and if you don't have time, like I take time I can't wait to get out in nature. But my God, y'all, we have expected 90 degrees. I don't know what happened to the 60 and 70. We did get a 70 the other day. It was overcast. But I think they said 90 degree. We're getting ready to have a span of 90 degree, which means I'm not going outside. I'm going to enjoy it from this window on this side. And hopefully, I might want to just call in a AC service tech, just check on it. Because Lord knows if we're going to be expecting 90, I can't have it going out and having to deal with that and trying to call somebody. Hey, Glory, trying to call somebody in at the height of, because that's going to happen. Repair service requests are going to go up in this first 90 because some people are just now turning their AC on. But I live with people that keep it cold. So I'm always under a blanket or two. So I just like watching the concert of the morning. And in that, that's my escape away from the loudness of social media. That's my escape from the loudness of work. Is it loud? The noise. Write that down, noise. Because sometimes it's loud, sometimes loud is productive, but the noise, that's my escape from the noise. I look outside and I'm like, all that stuff is working together and not having to make a sound. Occasionally you hear birds. I don't hear the birds right now, but I live near a water source, so I'll hear the waterfowl fly over, all that beauty, but you can't get it unless you quiet. So our word today, those of you just coming in, we wrote down quiet. It's a blessing to be able to find a quiet moment because I remember not too long ago coming through the trauma. It's like trying to find a place. Just to carve me out just a little bit of space. And for many people, it's in their car and on their commute. You guys go out there. There's so many reports about where people minds are in their car. Talk about distracted driving. Distracted driving, when they put out the reports, only a part of that is people on their phones. They're distracted because they're upset, they're crying, they're emotional. A lot of times people are driving unconsciously. They have these accidents and they don't know how they had to. People are like, well, what happened? They don't know because their minds were so many places, so far away. On all these things. I'm not ready to get out of bed. Plus it's rain. I wish we had some rain. California, the artists is out there in California as well. We need some. But so being distracted, let's write that down. That's our word too. We're always distracted. When I write down distracted, because I'm not always distracted, I am always preoccupied. That's how I describe me. And one of the ways I realize I have been always, all of my life, preoccupied, okay, is right now, I've reached that time in life where when I get around the few friends that I keep and the few people I've known for a very long time, and we're telling each other different things that have happened, and we realize we didn't know. How many times you have to tell somebody, oh man, I didn't know. I didn't know you did that, or I didn't know you do that, because we're always preoccupied. I don't know, that just depends. You may or may not be. Like I have a couple of friends. Like in my family, there's that family member that keeps tabs of everybody. If you want to know what's going on with a person, you ask that person, right? Or when I go to the barbershop, my barber and I, we go back to third grade, and we're always reminiscing about the old neighbor. And I'm like, how did I not know this? And people would not hesitate to tell me, well, you were always doing this, you were always doing that. I went to I'll never forget, I went to a meeting. We were having a meeting when it came time to plan, every year, I'll say the annual kind of class reunion type stuff, right? And one of my classmates, they were talking about a few classmates here and there, whatever, and I was like, who? I kept finding myself going, who? What? When? And so one of my classmates just told me all. He's like, just hush, okay? You don't remember anybody anyway, right? And I was like, it hurt my feelings because I was like, really? That can't be I'm not that person. But the thing about it is, I was always that person. I had my clique, but I was just seem to be good with everybody. But then I'm like, but how did I get to a point in life where I literally kept in touch with like no one, yeah, I hooked back up with the barber. She and I go back to third grade. I had a couple really good best friends, but I was preoccupied. And even today, when how they have kept tabs of what I've done and how I've kept tabs of what they've done, I thought we were all preoccupied. I think I'm that person. I think everybody is this busy. I think everybody is working on their stuff, is doing their stuff, is trying to get from point A to point B or Z and all of that, right? We do that. We think everybody's doing this stuff, but some people aren't. They are just observing. They're observing everybody, and they're a little bit more concerned about others than some of us, right? So when I say get quiet, it's a blessing to be able to get quiet. It's a blessing. I can't tell y'all. I'm sitting here doing a podcast and my phone's not on D&D. And I get upset when it rings, but nobody calls. So I don't necessarily have to. I get that call. I got a couple of people who refuse to check social media, and they still make that long call and want to hear your voice and then ask you 50,000 questions of things you already done posted on social media and so forth or whatever. But I just remember wanting that quiet moment. And when my cousin told me that time, she was like, turn your TV off at night. And I tell y'all, when I cut that television off, I literally can turn over and go right to sleep. And mind you, there were many, many times, many years I went without having a television in my room. And then when Twitter came along, in fact, I didn't bring a television back into the room until Twitter came along, because I was, again, always preoccupied. I didn't watch television. Social media was audio visual, had become audio visual at that time. And I used to manage chat rooms. Of course, I was all into blogging at that time. But then when Twitter came along, Twitter saved television, right? It absolutely saved television, because then in order to get into those conversations, Twitter was that platform where you got to know what you're talking about to have these conversations. Thank you so much, Natasha, for coming in and inviting followers. You needed to. Everybody was talking about award shows, and then people started talking about different television shows. So Twitter actually saved television, and television shows, news shows started using Twitter to have a two-way conversation. So we went all in with that. And I'm like, okay, I need a television so that I can blog about this stuff and so forth, right? Good morning. And so on the other side of that was, then I end up, I got another one, a television upgrade for Christmas. So then I started having it. But then I realized, it's like, keeping it on all night was an escape. It was an escape with all the stuff that I was going through. And like I said, when I was talking to my cousin, about my dreams just being so vivid. And then she said, well, do you turn the TV off at night? Do you go into complete darkness? Who wants to go into complete darkness? Who wants to go into silence? Who wants silence? Write that down. Who wants silence? Can we handle the quiet? I remember, and I'm a person, y'all know I subscribe to a number of things. And I used to, until she got hella expensive. There's a real well-known intuitive here in Atlanta, and you probably have heard or seen her not on television, but she does go on periodically on some radio shows. Miss Dorothea. If you ever, let me tell you, she is the real deal. Okay, absolute real deal. And I used to, for business purposes and for, to stay on my goals, I'd do a consult probably twice a year, whatever, And I remember one year she said, this is the year you just need to be quiet. She always said, divorce yourself from time, and at times just be quiet. you know, oftentimes you're the one, people are seeking answers from, and this, that, and the other. And just spend a year. And I was like, a year? It's like, when she was just talking about when I go to networkings or I go to these events and things, don't be the one always talking. Just kind of be quiet and listen, so that I can start receiving, right? Because, like, say, for instance, I'm doing a podcast. I have one podcast where I have a co-host. So I don't have to do all the talking, but for like how to get out of bed and then the buzz of the bashes, these are like blog pieces where I have to kind of put things out there. And this one, when I push that button, I try not to have too much on my mind so that we can do this infographic and just kind of talk through like all this stuff. I'm writing this down. This is becoming a podcast while we're working on it. So it's a blessing to be able to get something out of quiet. Not just be quiet, not just shut up, okay? Not just be silent, but in that is a list to listen, still listen. You're listening. I'm gonna go ahead and write that down. I didn't want to write listening down, but I'm gonna write it down just to kind of tie it to the listening podcast that we did. But in that quiet, in that silence, listen, because that's how you find your blessings. That's how things are qualified for you. That's how you learn that this is yours. You gotta stop it. You gotta stop and listen. Sometimes just be in the room. I don't care if it's a group. I don't care what the expectation. Because a lot of times people have that expectation that, oh, well, they're gonna just do it all. People will put that on you in a minute. They'll do it all. I'm just gonna sit back. And then you know what we do? Those of us who are never quiet, we get mad because we done spoke up first, or we're the ones, we always speak up, we always volunteer, we always want to do it. Other people, they get comfortable with that. Oh, they'll do it. They'll get it done. And then what do you do at the end of the day? You mad because you volunteer for everything. You gave it your all, and everybody else just kind of rode the wave. They're not. You're exhausted, and you wonder why nobody else is exhausted because you're doing too much. Because in that moment you should have been quiet. In that moment you should have listened. In that moment you should have allowed the silence. In that moment you should let somebody else pack the reservoir. Okay? You should let somebody else have some opinions. Let somebody else define the comfort zone. Right? Take some time. Just be alone. Stop looking for an escape. Stop trying to quiet and stop trying to be a part of the noise and go get somewhere quiet. Distracted. So remember, at the end of this, we always want to start at the top, go to the bottom, and try to read from the bottom up to the top. 27 minutes into this. Thank you so much. If you listened thus far, there's some answers in this thing for you. From the bottom, listening in the silence. But if it's silent, what are you going to hear? Your heart, your soul, and no one helps. So then you get mad. Exactly. You're mad, but they didn't speak up. They didn't say that they would do anything. They didn't say. Now, it's different if they just as loud as you are and y'all trying to outdo each other. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and then they don't hold up their end of the bargain. That's a whole nother scope. We're talking about the fact that we're doing too much. We're giving too much. And then we retreat back to our bed. So listen in the silence. Listen for the silence. Listen for the silence. In the silence, guess what? There's still a lot to be heard. There is still a lot to be heard in the silence, y'all. Some people say silence is deafening. It's actually not. There's a lot to be heard in the silence, and a lot in that silence is what you need to hear. Sometimes be quiet, and if it goes quiet, then you know. Oh, you're the one doing everything. You gotta listen for that, right? Preoccupied. I just told someone that yesterday. I'm telling you, distracted. A lot of times we're just loud and noisy just to distract ourselves from what we really need to be dealing with. We're just distracted, right? Escape. We're just trying to escape. A lot of times, you ever heard about something called busy work? Like you got a lot to do, but it's really not to do anything, right? It's just, you just busy. You're not really accomplishing. You're not really finishing. You're not really getting to the end. You're not really getting to the results, the resolve. You're just busy. Just something to do every day, right? just want to be busy. Your hands need to be in motion. Your mind needs to be going because you can't handle the silence. This morning before going live, I tell you, I woke up at the dusk of dawn, probably about maybe about an hour ago. I think I touched the phone and said about maybe 6 a.m. or whatever, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill. I'm not gonna reach for that phone. I'm not gonna reach for that remote. I'm just gonna chill because I don't want to go live. And then 7:30 came, 7:40. I'm like, I could go live now. And I'm like, no, just be quiet. Just be quiet. And then I heard the dog snoring, and the dog heard me stirring. And he was like, "Is it time for us to get up?" It's like, he was like, "Is it time?" No, it's not time. I was like, and I literally told the dog, go lay back down. And then I got back in the bed, and I was like, let's just chill. And I love where I am because one, I've always lived by a train, and there's a road, and I'm like, there's no car. Like, why is there a car on the road? And it's not right outside my window, but I notice when I quiet everything in here, the further I could hear. When I turn off the television, turn off, shut down the devices, and just sit quietly, I can hear the roar of the highway, which is about a half a mile, maybe a mile, no, about a half a mile is the highway. And I can hear the cars going west. The train a half a mile in the other direction. There's a rock quarry. There's a rock quarry literally half a mile in the other direction. I pray to God we don't fall in. But there's a rock quarry. I can hear the beep beep of the trucks and them rolling over the rocks and all that kind of stuff. And every Wednesday, if you're quiet, there's a roar, there's a rumble that goes through the bedrock, right? There's a rumble. I don't know if it's from a machine or something that they turn on, but it happens every Wednesday. Hey, Apples, who else? Somebody else just came in. JB Derry came in. Jilly came in. Rapari came in. So every Wednesday, around about noon, there's this rumble. I don't know if it's something in the bedrock. It happens every Wednesday. And if you don't live in the area and you're visiting, you go, wait, what was that? Oh, that's just a rumble. It's some kind of thing they turn on. Maybe they turn on the machine that's digging in the bedrock. All I know is it comes through. I've lived in 2 places out here. This is the second place, and I feel it here, and I felt it in my house. So it's just, honey, it's the quiet. I love it. I love it. And I love that. I love the blessing in it that I can get it quiet. I love the blessing that I can quiet the loud, the noise. I can escape all opinions, including my own. I can find a different set of comfort zone. Being alone, I'm not afraid of being alone. I can escape noise, distracted. I don't have to be preoccupied. One of the reasons, my main goal for seeking quiet is because I have learned about myself, not from others, but I have learned from wanting to know myself that I spend too much time preoccupied. All right, guys, we're going to get ready. It's about 30. We're just over the 30-minute. I'm going to get ready to shut it down. That means I want to spend a few minutes telling you about the supporters that we have on the podcast. So I want to thank you guys for listening. But listen, I got to tell you a couple things that we have going on. There is an additional podcast. If you are listening to this on a podcast platform, here's the types of content that you're going to see or that you are now seeing in our timeline. Okay, one is, of course, we were doing the Tuesday podcast leading up to the Michelle Obama book tour when it arrived in Atlanta. It came to Atlanta last week. We did a follow-up podcast, and we're still trying to decide if we want to keep that going. But also, I have a new podcast. So I want to tell you, let me see if I think if I hit that. There you go. All right, so watch your screen. It's going to change. It's called Buzz It or Bash It. Now, actually, if you listen to this as a podcast, the platform, the entire podcast is called Buzz It or Bash It, because Dryerbuzz will give you the opportunity to buzz it or bash it, anything and everything that we're doing, right? So that one is where we take the topics, we scroll and we troll. We scroll and we troll our timelines for things that just make us like buzz it or bash it. So you want to try and catch that. So that's something new that you will be seeing in our timeline. And it's right now it's kind of, well, actually this one is Saturday morning. So this is Saturday afternoon kind of, because we each how to Get Out of Bed is a 7-day podcast, but Buzz It or Bash It is a weekend wrap up. It's a weekend wrap up of all the different clippings of things that we buzzed or bashed it during the week. So we go back and we revisit some of those topics. So that image right there, I want you to be familiar with that when you see us, knowing that we're live on that one. That one is Saturday morning. But if you're following us, if you're on my email list, if you're following on the blog, on the social media or blog pages where we blog periodically, we will be doing a Saturday morning wrap up. That's basically particularly for the salons and the barbershops. So it's 45 minutes, 45 good minutes of great topics. And we're inviting you to check that out on the Buzz of the Bastion. And each of our podcasts, we monetize our podcast. I want to tell you about an opportunity to monetize your podcast as well as an ambassador. We have become an ambassador for Natural Soap by Zakia. You guys know that Zakia is just literally in the process of taking over the soap industry. She has done some amazing things. She will be live on the day that we're recording this. She's also going to be live at 2 p.m. From a Soapers conference, and she's going to be demonstrating how to leverage social media, leverage live streaming in your business, and how she was able to build her industry, join a community of soap makers using live stream and reach goals that businesses are thriving for in just a matter of 3 years with the use. I mean, to be able to have customers all around the world. She has customers all around the world. Not only that, she has an amazing product. I have been using her product for 3 years. And not only that, she's one of my customers, but now she's one of our supporters, and we have a great partnership. But if you're looking to monetize what you're doing on social media, your podcast, your blog, she has a wonderful ambassador program. If you go to naturalsoapbyzakia.com, look for the information on the ambassador or affiliate program, and then all you have to do is share links. You will earn a commission. And if you're looking for great soap, this is the soap, y'all. I'm telling you. If you like you want to be really clean, like clean, you want to use natural soap. You'll rinse clean. Your shower will rinse clean. That means less time. You stay cleaner longer. Your bathroom stays clean longer. You can use the soap from head to toe, especially in the summertime. With all of the dry skin and so forth. She makes her soaps. You can watch her make your soap. You can watch her package your product. You can wait for it, open it, unbox it, and just know that you have got the best product in there. I'm telling you, it's absolutely awesome and amazing. I am an ambassador of very few products. There are very few products that I can truly speak on. The founding, the development, the creative growth, and then the opportunity. Remember, at the end of the day, the last word we write down on each of our talks is opportunity. If I can spell, let me tell you, How to Get Out of Bed is about opportunities. Zakia and Natural Soap by Zakia partner with us so that we can bring you guys more opportunities. So I'm excited. Now listen, I know you're already over there at naturalsoapbyzakia.com. Zakia. Naturalsoapbyzakia.com. Before you check out, please put in your discount code so that you can save 10%. Discount code is Dryerbuzz. Dryer, B as in boy, UZZ. Make sure you put in your discount code. Listen, if you've got a podcast, even if you don't have a podcast, you got a bunch of friends on social media, in between all those different posts and things like that, go and sign up. If you're gonna buy, if you're gonna buy some soap, at least go sign up as an affiliate. If you mean that you're gonna buy soap on the regular, at least become an affiliate or an ambassador so that you can become your own customer and get cash back, right? So that means after you bought a certain amount of soap, and being even just your own customer, then you're going to get cash back. You can either get your cash or you can use it and buy more soap, right? And don't just think that natural soap by Zakia is the only opportunity for you to do that. There are other products out there. People are doing it. This makeup industry, one of the reasons why the makeup industry is booming, not because everybody really wants to get out here wearing all this makeup, is because they have ambassador programs. People are becoming their own customer. People are leveraging, they're monetizing. You hear that word all the time, monetizing. Natural Soap by Zakia is a great way to monetize your live streaming, your podcasting, your blogging. I have been able to self-sustain my blog for 17 years through ambassador programs, through affiliate programs. I have my own ambassador and affiliate program for my products and so forth. So when 27 answers, I never had to sell books because I had ambassadors to sell books. So when you're thinking about monetizing, Natural Soap by Zakia is one of the best affiliate programs out there right now. Go and check it out. I should be talking with you guys more about that to come. I'll be talking with you guys more about my affiliate program to come as well as we come back. But listen, I'm going to get out of here and let you go and enjoy your day. And I've got one more thing. I only got one more thing that I need you guys to do me a favor, and that is...
Go now to Dryerbuzz.com and follow @Dryerbuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.
Okay, we're going to do that one more time because I forgot to give you your exercise. For those of you still around, your exercise for the day is in your quiet moment. In your quiet moment, just make a note of what it takes to get quiet. What did it take for me to get quiet? Did you have to yell at the kids? Come on, y'all, give me... You know what I used to do? I'm a mom of 4. Okay, and I had 4 stair-stepping toddlers. Okay, I'm a mom of 4. One exercise I used to do as a mom is when we got home, everybody had to give everybody 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes, right? No fingers up under the door, no talking, no bothering, no nothing. Everybody had to give everybody 5 minutes. We all go... Look, y'all just came from school and daycare, and I just came from work. Look, everybody wants to take off this mask. Everybody wants to get all these chips off their shoulders so that we can treat each other in our own space as loving and as kind as we can without all that outdoor, outside, all that other stuff, otherness and all that stuff. Here we are. We're in our space. Time for us to become a family. Let's just take 5 minutes, right? And you learn to appreciate your 5 minutes so much that you then want to extend it. Okay, can I have 10? Yes, you can have 10. Can I have an hour? Yes, you can have an hour. Listen, all I'm saying is get quiet. But I want you to take a note today. What does it take for you to get quiet? I know for me, sometimes I have to leave my phone in the other room. Sometimes I have to let my devices just die out. They have no more, no bars, no charge, no nothing, right? And then I make a note. Why? What is it I'm trying to escape from that I keep grabbing that phone? Why can't I just sit quietly? Why am I turning the TV on and up loud? Why am I blasting the music? Notice I'm saying, this is what I do for me. Right? Now imagine you living with somebody that has to do the same thing, or you work with somebody that has to do the same thing. And guess what? We're just out here creating a bunch of noise. It's time to quiet the noise, if only for today. Let's just quiet the noise. And again, one favor. I'm sorry, I got to do it again so we can go. All right, y'all. Quiet after this. Get quiet.
Go now to Dryerbuzz.com and follow @Dryerbuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.